Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Bura. We're going to be talking about the Unreal Engine's free for the month content. Alright, welcome back. Before we start this video, I want to make sure that you like and subscribe. And the reason why you subscribe to this channel is to get amazing news before everybody else does to make you as successful as possible. Alright, so if you don't already know, the Unreal Engine has free content once per month, every single month. And what I highly recommend doing is making an account, and I highly recommend adding these to your profile. The reason for that is that you'll never know what you might need. There's a lot of really cool things in here. So let's start off with the first one. And if you don't know how to get it, you just go to free for the month here, and that comes up with this menu here. So the first things first is the endless runner here. Now, if you've never made a game before, I highly recommend that you take a template like this and try and make a game. Now, usually this happens after you've done a few tutorials, just so you know how it works here. But if you can make a complete game, it doesn't have to be publishable, it just has to be complete. And I think you'll learn a lot from that here. So this has a lot of really cool out-of-the-box features here. And remember, you can always spend maybe half an hour to an hour reverse engineering how this works. You'll learn a lot by doing that as well. So there's a lot of really cool different kinds of runners here, which is really awesome. So if you do want to make a runner, I highly recommend that you get this right here, because there are so many cool features here. And again, even if you just look at the levels, and see how they work, it will be really beneficial for you to do. Now, of course, if you do want to publish a game, that's great. The only thing that you have to make sure of is that your game is at least a little bit different than what's already up there. The next one is the low poly environment. Now, this is really cool if you like these kind of, the tropical pirate scene in the Caribbean and whatnot. There's a lot of really cool game ideas that you can do, and one of the things I really like about this kind of pack that you get is that you can make a whole game about this, and you can try and make a whole game just with this pack here, and I think it's a really neat idea, right? So you can take a look at this here. There's a lot of really cool features that you can see on this, and I think that's quite awesome. And this is actually quite detailed if you like the low poly aesthetic. Remember, the low poly aesthetic is a good aesthetic because it doesn't age as much as some of the other aesthetics do. Video game art does age. You can look at some old games, particularly on the Nintendo 64, and they have aged, and you wouldn't want to play those kind of games today if you were around when you played the N64. But this kind of aesthetic might be playable 10, 20, 30 years in the future. So I highly recommend downloading this. There's a lot of stuff here. And remember, you can just, add this to cart and check out. I haven't done that yet. I'll do that later. But the other one here is this light foliage pack here. And it's always good to have foliage because you never know when you might need this kind of foliage here. It looks pretty realistic. This kind of looks like a meadow somewhere in a plains type region. And kind of like a sub-mountain type region. Any kind of foliage is good here. Again, it's free, so add it to your system here. Now, the next one here is actually pretty cool. Now, this is an RPG system, and a lot of people want to make an RPG their first game. I highly recommend waiting to make your first RPG. Make something a little bit smaller first, then make your RPG. Of course, even I want to make an RPG, and you can always use a system like this that will help you add in stats. So like if you were to program just health, stamina, range, damage. Now think about it. If every one of these took 10 minutes, which it wouldn't, it would take a lot longer than 10 minutes. But if anyone took 10 minutes, you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, an hour and a half to set all this up. Now it probably doesn't take 10 minutes. It probably takes 20, well, it probably takes more like an hour. Well, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to set one of these up if you don't know what you're doing. And if you do know what you're doing, this probably would take maybe 1 to 2 hours, maybe 3. So all of this functionality in here and just getting the stats and everything is really good because it will save you quite a bit of time, right? And remember, when you do download these things, what you want to do is try and make a whole project with this and then add in the code after that. It's kind of hard to mix and match. Last but not least, we have poses. Now, one of the things that these free Unreal Engine monthly deals have is they have a lot of poses for the mannequin. And if you've never used Unreal before, you'll know that you'll get these mannequins in here, and you can do whatever you want with them. And animations, you'll always need more animations, because whether you're using the mannequin or your own custom model, or a model that you have purchased off of the Unreal Marketplace, if you're using your model, they use all the same animations here, and you might use these animations at some point in time in the future, right? So there's a lot of different poses. Even if you want to have, let's say, this pose as your title screen, you can do that here. And there's a lot of really good poses. I think they're quite nice here. You know, lots of really good poses. So I highly recommend that you download this, because this is something that you will need in the future. Guaranteed. I've used these in the future here, and wow, that's a lot of poses. So so you can see here that, yeah, it's quite a bit of poses here. So I highly recommend that you just simply add it to cart here. All right. Also, one of the things about the Unreal Engine is they also have the permanently free collection if you don't already have it, right? And there's a couple of things that are in here since the last time we talked about it here, right? So if you look at this one of the ones that I think is really neat is this rural Australia here. Now, I've never personally been to rural Australia, but I have seen some pictures, and this does look pretty close here. Now, of course, this is within the kind of somewhat desert region of Australia, but they even have a venomous snake, which I think is quite awesome here. And yeah, look at that. There we go. Lots of really cool things. And the other thing is the water. Whenever I get a water shader, I really like it. The water shaders are pretty hard to do, and this is actually incredibly difficult to do. If you look in at this kind of stuff on the water here, that's very, very difficult to do. If you were to do it by scratch, it would take you a long time. So if you want to have a game in the Outback, I highly recommend downloading this here. So the next item here is really good. This is one of my favorite tools to use in the Unreal Engine. And there is a very similar item that was a couple months ago. I think it might have been, yeah, it was at least a couple months ago, where whenever you build a level, you have to place anything. And let's say you wanted to build a level that had just a bunch of random items kind of scattered all around. You'd have to place those. But with this tool, you can kind of just throw things around, and it will just kind of fall on the screen. Because when you're usually in your level, there is no such thing as gravity. You just place everything. But this will allow you to kind of just place things on gravity here. And that gives you a much more organic feel to your level. And it's something that's really good. So like, let's say you wanted to even just do this here. Without this tool, you'd have to like place all these apples, and some of them might be floating up, and that's definitely not good. You could have added in physics and they'd kind of just fall down, but in the level editor it wouldn't work. But this will allow you to just kind of, in the level editor, add gravity, which is quite nice. Now, it also comes with quite a bit of extra items here, so it's definitely worth everything that you need. Now, the next one here is the Downtown West Modular Park here. Now, this is, if you're looking for some kind of a downtown street corner, this kind of looks, a little bit European, perhaps in an old part of a city in the United States. Nevertheless, it gives you quite a bit of options here, and it also gives you nighttime, which you think might be very easy, because when things go to night, everything changes and you just have to change the light. Well, it's a lot harder. You have to put the lights up and do all the baking. It's quite a bit of work here. So I highly recommend that, again, you download this here. And again, just you might need this statue somewhere in your game here. The fountains and this water here, like, that's very difficult to do. The particle effects for water here. So even if you use this statue in some other type of game, I highly recommend it here. These are always really good to have, because you can always have like a level that's like kind of like a museum, and these can go in there. But yes, very, very cool stuff. Looks very, very nice. And it has a ton of different objects here. You can see that there's all these different statues here. And the buildings are modular, so you can make your own custom level here. And even if you want to use the pre-made scene for a cutscene, that also works as well too. And last but not least, we have easy quests. So we've all played a game where you need to go on a quest here, and what this will do is this will, well, allow you to make basically quests, and it has really cool stuff here. And you know, just again, programming all this stuff from scratch is fairly difficult. So one of the things I highly recommend that you do is you use some of these templates, because game development has gone down that road. Now, if you really want to get good, you make games from scratch, and then you add in these templates here. You do have to do the games from scratch bit just to realize how awesome these templates are. And as a person who's been doing game development for years, you kind of know what's going on here. So you can see here that there's a lot of really cool features here. And even if you want to spend time to just redo the UI, that's time well spent, right? Any time that you spend making a game, that's, you know, it's part of your tool set here. All right. So I have to add all of these to cart here, and it's pretty easy. You can just do this here. You know, you can add them all to cart. You can check them out. And again, anytime something free comes up, highly recommend that you download it. Even in the permanently free collection, I would just download it anyway. Just because I would download here. As you can see, I've downloaded most of these here. Some of the things I have not downloaded. Some of the vegetation I don't think I would use until I need it here. But definitely do check it out. Do check, especially the stuff that's only available for free for a month here. And good luck making games. Of course, thanks for watching this video. If you really like this channel, you can subscribe to this channel. Just hit that subscribe button. It really, really does help me out when you do like and subscribe. Of course, if you really like this channel, you can buy our digital products down below. This channel doesn't do a Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital products down below. And the more money we get from the content that you buy below, the more content, especially the free content here, we can make. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you